good old Chanel got me again. I saw their spring collection and I really liked a couple of the products. So I went by my local boutique and picked up a few of the products. Do not be fooled. This is not the first time I'm recording this video. This is the third time I'm trying to record. First, I recorded everything, and then when I went to edit, the disc was just corrupt. I couldn't save any of the footage. The second time, kids kept interrupting, so I had to stop. And this is the third time. Third time's a charm. This better turn out amazing. The spring collection includes 2 different eyeshadows, a blush that's duo, a big highlighter, a balm essential, the Mermaid glow, I think 4 different lipsticks, an eyeliner, some nail polishes. And so what I initially picked up were 3. I picked up one of the eyeshadows, a lipstick like the Laque, and also the highlighter, the Balm Highlighter. And after that, I put a poll on Instagram if you guys wanted me to review and compare the blush with other Chanel blushes, and majority said yes. So that's what I picked up. The product that drew me into the entire collection was this eyeshadow palette. I initially just went for this, and then I started swatching the Balm, and then I discovered the Laque, the Rouge Allure Laque lip products from Chanel. I have never tried these, and the girl there was like, just try it on, just put it on. So I walked away with 3 different colors. One of them is the 92, which is limited edition. They came out with a spring collection. And then I have the 62 and 63. I'll kind of swatch them all so you can see comparison. Before I get started, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Tania. I'd love for you to subscribe down below. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I've tried to be more active. I think it's a great way, an easy way to connect with you guys and give you information about new launches or reels or things like that. So make sure you follow me there, and let's get started. So this is not going to be a first impression on the eyeshadow palette or the balm or the lip products, but it will be for the blush. I haven't even opened the blush. So I think I'm going to start with the face, the lip, and then we're going to finish with the eye. I will make sure to have timestamps. That way, if you're just interested in a product, you can kind of skip ahead. I'm going to start with the blush. This is the one thing that I have not tried. And the reason I initially skipped on this is just because it seemed to be very similar to some of the blushes, the winter blushes, and it was $80. Oof. So I am editing the video right now. It's been a whole day. I've been wearing this makeup all day, so it's kind of worn down. But I wanted to mention a price difference. I paid for the blush $80. Right now on their website, it is $75. Okay, the highlighter, the big one, was $80 when I went in store, and right now it's $72. And the eye quad, it's $64. No, I paid $64 and it's $68 right now. So I have no idea what changed, and did Chanel ever do this before? I'm a little confused. I kind of feel ripped off, but then I paid less for the eyeshadow, so it kind of evens out. But I thought I would just mention it because I found it very strange. Okay, back to the video. That just definitely hurt. But this is the blush right here. I will say, it seems like such a beautiful everyday blush. You get 2 beautiful, very wearable blushes. One is more rosy, one is more peachy, or you can combine it. The embossing is definitely beautiful, very simple, and nothing crazy. I think the most exciting part of this blush is the colors, and that it comes in 2 different colors. Let's swatch this. Yeah, seems to be completely matte formula. There's no shimmer in them, which was another reason why I initially skipped on it, because I do like a little bit of shimmer in my blush, just a little bit of glow, and these are completely matte. However, I feel like a lot of people are gonna like that because it's just easy to wear. So even if you have more mature skin and you have a lot of pores, a matte blush will usually make it look more blurred. Here are the 2 blushes, the peachy one, rosy, and combined. I actually really like this color of them combined. Let's start with the coral one on this side. Okay, it picks up pretty well. This is a 19 brush, and it's just easy for me to dip in there. So when I swatched these in store, they definitely felt very light, and you'd have to build up the product, which is probably my favorite thing about Chanel blushes. I always mess that up. You guys have no idea how many times I edit out my brushes, blushes, bronzer blushes. I can't even say it, blush brushes. So this is nice and buildable. It goes a little bit more sheer initially, and then you can really build up the product. I mean, that's a beautiful shade. I'm gonna build it up a little bit more, but I would probably just wear it like this. I think it's just easy every day. There is no sheen to it. It's definitely matte, but it's not a drying matte. There's a bunch of kids playing right outside my window, so do enjoy that. Even though I see absolutely no shimmer, no glow, whenever I turn my head, it almost seems like it's not a flat matte blush. Not that it has a shift in it, but it looks smooth and very blurring for sure, but it almost looks like it has the tiniest bit of shift. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's definitely a matte blush, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not flat. That would have been so much faster. Okay, let's go with the rose color, and then I will combine them. I do find the need to build up the blush. It's not a very strong color, so if you have deeper skin tone, I just don't think this may show up on you. I mean, I am light skin tone. I'm gonna change the brush. I'm gonna take my faithful Real Techniques blush. I think this is the multi-face task brush. I don't know, it rubbed off, but it's my favorite blush brush, except a Refer one, the really fancy Refer one. This one right here, I don't even think they have it anymore, but it's a beautiful blush brush. I said that correctly. Did you notice that? Okay, so this blush is, again, really pretty, quite actually very blurring on the skin. So these are the two blush colors. Here we have the more peachy one, and then the rosier one. Now, I feel like in person, I definitely see a difference in the colors. On camera, like on the monitor, they seem much more similar than in person. This just pulls a little bit warm, and this pulls a little bit more neutral, I would say. I'm gonna just swirl my brush and go over, because to be honest, this is probably how I would wear, ooh, that's actually really pretty. That's how I would wear this blush. Very rarely would I just go on one of the colors. This is where it shines. This color shines. Ooh, I really like that now. I think combining them, it just brings up a little bit of both colors, and it makes it definitely more unique. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, this is the blush color combine. I really like this. I feel like this is where the product is. I'm not gonna say it's worth it, absolutely not. But if you're interested and you have the budget to spend $80 on a blush, I think combining them is where it shines for sure. It's very blurring on the skin. I like that you can kind of see the pink in here and then the peachiness a lot more on this side. I like the combination of the colors. Now, I don't have a ton of Chanel blushes. Honestly, I just got into Chanel this past year, I would say, and now I can't stop. But I do have the collection, the winter collection. This is nothing like the new collection. Okay, I'm not even going to swatch these because it's truly completely different blushes. And to be honest, this color story was one of the most unique color story in blushes that I've seen probably ever. I loved this release so much. I also have a old peach color. This is the Peche Rosé, and I will swatch that. I also have the coral from the winter collection. And the other one I want to swatch is the rose from the winter collection. These two have a sheen to them. I am in love with these blushes. I think they're so beautiful, and I reach for them daily. I'm also gonna swatch the 55 in Love, and I think that's it. I do have this other like face palette from Chanel, but I don't think they're similar. The first combination I'm swatching is the winter collection, and then this is the new one, the spring collection. So here we have the spring collection, the rose, the peach, and this is the winter collection, the coral and the rose. So this is definitely much more corally. I will say the swatch is quite intense, so let me show it out. So the winter collection and the spring, you can see that the winter collection has a shift in it, and I would say the new one, it's just sheerer, more matte, and more powdery. These feel a little bit more creamy, and the texture is definitely very different than the new one. The new one is kind of a more maybe basic formula. I'm going to swatch the Peche Rosé. I want to say that this came out over a year ago. Yeah, this is very different. It's much more orangey than peachy. Another blush that I absolutely love from Dior is the In Love. It's the 55. I just love this shade so much. And the formula reminded me of just their regular matte formula. So that's 55 In Love. And then you have the spring ones. I think the formula is similar to I guess this their original one. I think that's their original one. Color is not the same. And why not? Let's just swatch maybe these two colors just to see how they look, even though they're very different. Yeah, they're completely different and different formula as well. Here you have them. These are, I think, baked formula. They're definitely a little bit more creamier. This is true powder matte. And this, even though they're matte, they have a shift in them. So I think those are all the Chanel blushes that I have that are kind of similar tone to the new ones. I think the new one is the most probably easy wearable, kind of rosy peachy shade, a matte formula, nothing to it, no shimmer, no crazy things. So I found it maybe a little bit underwhelming when I swatched them in store. Having it on my cheeks right now, I do really enjoy it, and I think it's a great blush and great colors. I just don't think it's anything revolutionary. For example, something that surprised me at Chanel was this release, which was the Fantasy release. Oh, I love this blush. This is more like a almost blush topper, but it was just so unique and different and glowy. And so this, I would be like, yes, get this. You know, I don't have anything like that. But with this, I think you already have these colors. You probably have very similar formula. It's nothing crazy and unique. I just really like the colors. So that's my thoughts on the blush. Wow, that took a while. Let's move on to the balm. I have here, I think it's called Mermaid Glow. Now, I almost skipped on this one. I didn't even look at it, to be honest, because I have their transparent and I love this product. I mean, I use this all the time. I use it as a lip product. I even put it on my eyes sometimes, always on my cheeks. I love it. It's just a basic balm glowy product. It's transparent. It doesn't have any color to it, which is probably why I love it so much. It reminds me a little bit of the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate highlighter. This is not as sticky as that one, but they came out with one that has gold and pink shift in it, and when I swatched it, I was like, oh, that's beautiful, but I kind of see the sparkles in it. And then I put it on my cheeks and I loved it. I couldn't really see the glitters or the sparkles in it, so I just purchased it. I am going to swatch it right here, and then I'm going to swatch the transparent shade next to it. That way you guys can see the difference. Here is the Mermaid Glow. I mean, there's a shift to it. You can definitely tell it's much more intense. It reminds me a little bit of the Sculpted shade, just with a different shift, like more goldy, pinky, purpley shift. And then this right here, it's the transparent one. So there's definitely a difference, and this on the cheek is a little bit more glowier. Like I mentioned, this definitely has sparkles in it. So if you absolutely hate sparkles, don't come near this. But oh, look how beautiful that is. So I was just not interested in this because of the sparkles, but once I put it on, I really couldn't tell that it had sparkles in it. It just kind of blends in and it just gives a little bit more shine. It's very fine. It is Chanel. You're not going to have a glitter balm on your cheeks. Talking about glitter, I'll talk a little bit about the other highlighter, but I preferred this one over the big highlighter powder that came out. I love this formula. If you know this formula, you know what you're getting yourself into. If you don't, you need to swatch it. You need to play with it because it's not for everybody. The thing I really liked about this is that it has that rosy shift. So it almost is like a blush topper. It emphasizes the pinkness of the blush underneath so much more. So I love it. I mean, it's so my style of product, even though it has that sparkle in it that I usually don't like. I really don't mind it in here. Also, if you don't know about the formula, unless you have like a barely there skin tint on your face, you don't want to go and swipe it because it will pull your foundation. So I use my finger and tap it. Sometimes, again, if I just wear a little bit of concealer or SPF, tinted SPF, I will go on my cheek straight up, but I'm very careful with that. Most of the time, I just kind of take my finger and blend this in. It's beautiful. I really like it. It's probably one of the products that I'm most excited in this release. That's not true. I like the eyeshadow palette a lot, but this seems to be one of those products that I wear daily. Okay, moving on to the lips, and we're gonna do the eyeshadow last. I'm gonna swatch the shade 92, which is the new color. I have it right here. It's called Seashell, and this is a more warmer shade. I initially thought it was quite cool, but once I put it on my lips, it looked much warmer. So that is the shade 92. Let me swatch the other ones. Here we have shade 63, which is a little bit more rosy, 62, a beautiful just nude, and here is the 92. It's definitely warmer. It's stunning though. I truly haven't heard anybody talk about this formula, and I was so impressed with it. I loved how long it's lasted. I've been wearing these for like 2 days now. I loved the formula. I loved that they weren't sticky. They set down. They were long lasting. They still had a sheen to it. They go on quite glossy. Let me show you. So they go on very thin. They do have a soft shine to them. They do set a little bit, but you never completely get that matte finish with these. They last so long without being an actual liquid lipstick. They are really like a lacquer for your lips. You can also build up the shade. So this is the shade 92 with nothing on. I had a little bit of lip contour, but no lip liner. So I'm going to build up the shade a little bit more, and you can get it to be more opaque. So this is the shade 92, and I think it's really beautiful. I wouldn't say that it's the most summery shade. It does have a little bit of warmth in it, a slight peachiness to it, but I still absolutely love it. I think it's a great everyday shade without being too much. I just love this formula. I think it's so pretty, and I don't know where I've been. Okay, I really like Chanel lip products so much. I love their glosses, their dual liquid lipstick. It's amazing. So this is going right there with favorites. But because the eyeshadow is kind of bluish tone, I think I'm going to change the lip so it won't contrast with that. The lip that I chose is the Endless Cacao from Makeup Forever lip liner. It's a little bit more cool tone, and then I put the Chanel in the shade 62 because it's more neutral, and then using a little bit cooler lip liner, it just makes this a little bit more of a cool look, cool tone look, and cool. But I wanted something like that for the eye look. Okay, let's move on to, I think, the star of the show. Everybody wanted to see this one. This is the shade 78 Rivage eyeshadow palette. Now, they came out with another one that had a lot of pinks and I think peaches and just a little bit more summery, brighter colors. I was not interested in that, like, at all. I swatched it and it's not that I wasn't impressed. I just don't love those colors, but this, This looks absolutely incredible. Here are the swatches. The brown is absolutely stunning, a gorgeous neutral shade. Then you have this more shimmer that is not super textured. It's quite smooth. It has a little bit more like a champagne shade. Then we have here this beautiful, more textury, a little bit glittery topper almost. It's stunning. And then obviously the blue that is a very smooth shimmer shade. So you definitely have different texture in this shadow, and the colors just speak to me. Now you guys know I am kind of boring with my eyeshadow. From time to time I'll do a pop of color, and this blue is the type of pop of color that I would normally do if I really wanted something. So I'll show you two ways that I'm gonna use it, but I'm gonna start with this beautiful brown shade, and I'm gonna put this in my crease. I think why I like this palette so much is because overall it's an everyday wearable palette if you take that blue away. I mean, that is like a perfect everyday color story with a little bit of sparkle. So I find this palette extremely wearable, and something that even though it's limited edition, I can see myself reaching for it over and over because it is so wearable. And I think adding that pop of blue was brilliant because it makes it a little bit more interesting. It definitely pulls you in, but that blue is also a color that I can see myself wearing from time to time. I saw Charlotte Holdcroft's video. I don't think it was the review on this palette, but she popped that blue right in the center and then the more neutral shades all over the lid. I want to say that was one of my favorite looks on her. I think it worked so well with her skin tone. It was fun, but it was very clean and subdued. It was a beautiful look. So honestly, that look made me want to purchase this palette because it looked so beautiful on her. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link her video down below. Okay, that is the brown. Absolutely beautiful, blends in very easy, no issues. I'm gonna take a little bit of that and put it on my lower lash line. I think something's getting delivered right now. I ordered so many things lately. There's so many new releases. So just hold on to your horses because there's just all the spring releases are coming, and I'm excited about so many of them. So I bet that's Sephora with like 4 different packages. Let's move on to this shade, which is a beautiful shimmery shade. Very smooth, intense as you can see, but very smooth. It's almost like canceling all my lines on my eyes, and I do have a very intense line, and usually product gets stuck in there. It doesn't bother me. I just take my finger and kind of go over it, but this shade blurs that line. Okay, and on top of that, in the center, I'm gonna take a little bit of this beautiful intense shade. It's almost like a topper. And I'm loving that Chanel lately has been giving us a little bit more texture, a little bit more sparkle. I just love that. And I love that I get so many different formulas within this quad. Oh, that's so pretty. It has a little bit of a pink shift in it. I can make it this super intense, but I really don't want to. I just want a little bit of shine in the center, but you can build up this color. Like, I'll show you right here. Look how intense you can make it. And it's just textury in the best way possible. Oh, I love this formula. I will take the same shade and put it in my inner corner because it's a beautiful inner corner brightening shade. And then what I'm gonna do with a blue shade, I'm gonna wet a brush. This is just an angle brush from BK Beauty N14. And I'm gonna take the blue here and do a line with this. Anytime I have just a pop of color, I use it a couple ways. I will either use it all over the lid in very minimal way, like make that be the accent and not a ton of other colors. Or I'll do it as a liner or in the inner corner. That can be a beautiful pop of color like Charlotte did. But I'm just going to show you two different looks that are still very wearable in my opinion. That way you're not intimidated of a bright, almost pastel color like this. Wetting it just makes it a little bit easier to work with, a little bit more intense, and you can actually see the wing. And I'm not gonna blend this in. I want this to look like it's a wing. It's still gonna be soft because of the color. Like you're not gonna have intense darkness or depth. It's definitely a more summery spring look. You could even take it on the lower lash line if you want. You could, you know, leave the top just neutral and take the blue on the lower lash line and bring it to a V. I think that would be really pretty as well. But that's kind of all I want to do with this. You know, it's minimal. You can make it bigger. You can put a black liner, like a tight line a little bit of mascara. I think that this could be such a beautiful, very wearable look. There's just a little bit of fallout that I got from it, but it's nothing big. I added a little bit of mascara and this is the look. It's very simple. That blue is just a little bit of pop of color. You could definitely make it a thicker line if you wanted to emphasize that. You could even put a little bit of black liner to almost have a contrast with that blue. I just wanted to just show you a very wearable everyday look that you could incorporate that blue without being too much. I'm not gonna take the eye look off. I'm literally just wiping off a little bit the center right here, because all I want to show you is just how that blue looks. I'm not trying to do this crazy eye look, but you saw just how everyday wearable, very soft the browns are, the shimmers are. It's nothing intense and intimidating. So I'm going to take my finger and take a little bit of this blue. Oh, look how bright that is. And just put it all over the lid. It's going to be a little bit harder for me to work with the mascara, but I'm lazy and I don't want to take that mascara off. Oh, that's such a beautiful, elegant blue. It's almost neon-y. It's so pretty. And then in here, I'm just going to take my finger and blend in the blue with whatever's there. I don't want the blue all the way in the inner corner. You could wet a brush and use it like that, or you could use your finger like me. There's no right or wrong. That was super easy. I'm just going to take the brown a little bit with a fluffy brush. This is an old MAC 224. I can't believe I still have this, the original. And so I'm gonna just take this blue a little bit and connect it. I already had that liner there, so I'm just connecting. Let me do the other eye, and then we're gonna put a little bit of the sparkle in the center after you can see, you know, both eyes together. I just got mascara everywhere. It's on my shirt, on my hand, all over here. It was all over the eyes too, but I kind of wiped it off. I hate when I do that. But this is the blue all over the lid. I added a little bit of mascara just to make sure that there's no blue on the lashes. I think it's such a pretty color. I'll show you adding just a little bit of this sparkle. It will tone down the blue, but I just want to show you a little bit how it gives a little bit more dimension. I think I said a little bit 3-4 times in a row. Here is the lightest shade in the center. And it didn't change a lot. It just gave it some dimension, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted the blue to still be bright, but have a little bit more fun with this without changing the overall color story. I'm liking this. I think it gave a little bit more interest to the eye because of that pink shift in the lightest shade. Okay, so what I want to do now is just add a little bit of liner to make this a little bit extra, but I think even with no liner, no lashes, just mascara, it's very easy, wearable, fun. I went outside to kind of help with the kids a little bit, and it was just fun. I walked by the mirror and I didn't feel overly makeup-y. I felt like, oh, I have a little bit of spring on my eyes. So let me get a little bit of a liner. I have here my Tom Ford. This is the very tiny brush end. This liner is one of my favorite liners in my entire collection. I've tried so many, but there's nothing quite as long-lasting and easy to use as this one. Is it expensive? Yes, but you get a ton of product. You pretty much get 2 liners in one. One of the ends is a little bit longer, then you have this precision one, and from what the Tom Ford counter told me is that it's kind of split. So even if this dries down or you use this up, you still have the other end, which is brilliant. So you get a ton of product. I really think it's worth the money in my opinion. I'm also going to add just a little bit of liner on the inner corner. Now I have very round, what are these called? Ducts, like tear ducts area right here. It's very round and almost impossible to do a true sharp liner, which is why I don't usually do it. It's very difficult. I absolutely love the look of it and it's stunning. But if you have a round inner corner right here, you know the struggle. I am taking a little bit of this Kryolan, what is this called? Cake Eyeliner Sealer, so it won't smudge around. You can use this on a cream product or a gel liner or just like a black powder liner. It just makes it stay longer. And then I'm just gonna go in here very lightly, just to kind of connect with the end of the liner, which I may take out even more. Ooh, like that, yeah. Here is the finished look with the liner. I think it's not too intense. It just defines the eye a little bit more. So let me give you my final thoughts on all these products. Let's start with the eyeshadow. I think you guys already know I absolutely love it. I think it's going to be such a good everyday wearable shadow. Mostly if you take that blue, it's literally an everyday shadow, and I love the lighter color that it has a little bit of shift in it of gold pink. It kind of matches honestly the highlighter. The color of the brown is almost perfection in my opinion. It's neutral leaning a little bit cool tone, so it doesn't have any warmth in it. Initially, if I look at it, I'm like, this is just a neutral brown, but I can see how with the blue, it could shift a little bit towards cool tone. So if you are interested in the palette and wonder how it performs, it's absolutely wonderful. I wore this, I mean, I think 2 days in a row now, and it worked really well. You definitely have some basic color nudes in here and that pop of color. So in my opinion, it's worth it because it's going to be a product that I will reach for over and over again. Next, the blush. So I think it's beautiful colors. The formula worked well, but I don't think it's anything revolutionary. I think you can definitely skip this one, and I don't think you're gonna miss out on like the winter blushes. I think, in my opinion, they are more unique. It has a shift in them. This is just like a good basic blush, but it's $80. You do get a lot of product and you do get 2 different colors, but I just don't think you need it. I don't think it's a product that you should run and spend your money on. Absolutely nothing wrong with it though. I really like it. I'm going to enjoy it, but nothing extraordinary. Now this balm, it's one of my favorite things that I picked up. I think the blush looks so good because I have this on. I think it brings out the pink in the blush. I looked in natural light as well in the mirror and I was like, wow, my cheeks look so good. You can put it on your lips as well. Oh, and it just gives such a beautiful shine. You can absolutely put it on your eyes. Now you need to know this formula. You need to like this formula. If you don't like balmy things, you're gonna hate it. But if you have a few of these, I do think the color is absolutely stunning. And like I mentioned, I think it's probably my favorite thing I picked up in this entire collection, just because even though I love the eyeshadow, this is something that I'll probably pick up every single day. I don't always wear eyeshadows. The lip product is another discovery that I am so excited to keep playing with. I think the color that I picked up is going to be perfect. Probably my favorite color is the 62. I think it's a little bit more nude and wearable, but the 92 color that came into this release, it's beautiful. I think it's a little bit more warm tone. You can pair it with a really deep brown liner and it's just going to be more of a statement. The formula is so, so good. But the only nudes that I found that I liked were the 62, 63, and this one, the 92, that has the limited edition one. So I would love to see more brownie nudes, like neutral, not too warm, not too pink, but the formula is so good. Now I want to put a tiny insert here of a swatch I did on the big highlighter. Now that is a fun highlighter. It has a blue shift. It's a very sparkly, and I was not gonna pay $80 for a product that I was never gonna use. It's just not what I like in a highlighter. And like I mentioned, the Balm does have a little bit of sparkles through it, but they're so soft and they kind of blend into the skin. When I put this highlighter on, you could definitely see that blue shift, iridescent, sparkly. It looked beautiful, but it's not a product that I would use. I probably would use it on my eyes, but I wasn't willing to spend $80 on something that I was going to only use it on my eyes. And that is all, my friends. Those are all the products that I've picked up and my thoughts on them. I hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.